Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I'm about 76% ready for this podcast.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
All right, Remington. I have some promises to keep.
Ooh, okay, promises. To me,
Yes,
to them,
yes.
I can never remember.
I know you can never remember, which is why anytime I bring up that I've made a promise, you're either terrified or elated, and you don't know which it is until I start actually describing what the promise was.
Yes, correct. Accurate.
Because if I make a promise to our audience, usually you're terrified, because it usually means that we're covering a show that has been long since requested, and you are under the impression that our audience only care about hurting you.
Yeah.
Whereas if I make a promise to you, it usually means that I've had one reason or another to do something nice for you. Because very rarely do I make a promise that is outright detrimental to you and your health. I've done it a couple of times, but the former is way more frequent than the latter.
So which one is this? Don't you fucking lie to me.
You think I would just open up the episode of the podcast with a blatant lie?
Yes. Be honest.
Well, Remington, it's interesting because it's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah, it's always a little bit more complicated. I knew there was some bullshit.
Well, that's just the thing, Rem. The promise itself isn't the complicated part. It's how I decided to fulfill the promise that's complicated. And you'll understand. But
Okay.
the promise was, in fact, to you specifically.
Okay.
Now, do you remember what promise I made you last?
I don't think it was last week.
Nope.
And I don't remember anything past last week.
Oh my god.
It's all a void. It goes down the memory hole.
You and goldfish have a lot in common, eh?
They are my friends.
Yeah, except I think goldfish technically have a 3-month memory or something like that.
Oh, well.
So goldfish take pity on you, it seems.
Yep.
But okay. But no. It was about 3, maybe 4 weeks ago, Rem. We did a pre-banter together.
Oh, okay.
And in
Pre-banter.
Yep, in that pre-banter, which if you are curious about our pre-banters, which are our little warm-ups where me and Remington just fuck around and chat for a little bit before the episode, you can check out our Patreon for those, as well as all the other bonus content.
Some of them are even funny.
It's true.
Not all of them. Some of them are just trash, right? Some of them...
Oh yeah, some of them are real bad. They're there for us to warm up and for you guys to realize that we're real fucking human beings rather than just two wacky characters on a podcast. No, this is actually us, and we are kind of sorry for that. But no, in this pre-banter, we played an impromptu game of Scrandle, where you had to do the best you could in Scrandle to try and hopefully get a prize to make that interesting.
And I did pretty good. I did pretty decent by itself, and I beat the average. So,
Yeah. And thankfully, Scrandle is an out of 10 game. And you got an 8 out of 10, which is pretty fucking good.
And so,
8
out of 10 show, baby.
Well, not exactly.
Excuse me? It seems pretty 1-to-1. It seems we got out of 10,
no.
we got out of 10. It seems like an easy way to make that work.
Well, and I mean, that could have been one way to go about it. But my promise to you specifically, Rem, was that depending on how good your score was, would be the amount of effort I put into finding a show that you would enjoy.
All right. So you spent 8 hours straight seeking, searching.
Okay. It's not 1-to-1, my guy. A 10 out of 10 show, Rem, if you had gotten 10 out of 10 for the Scrandle, I would have specifically sat down, compiled a complex list of all of the shows that you would have enjoyed, did a play-by, rewatched a lot of them to try and figure out what show would be the best way to reward you for being so good at identifying stadium food quality and how people react to it. Then it would have been a whole thing. I would have had a whole paper and dissertation about it, trying to figure out what would be a great, lovely 10 out of 10 reward for you. But that didn't happen. And like if I had a 1 out of 10, it'd be like, oh, okay, so I have to try as hard as I can to find something that Remington is going to despise, but in a very interesting way. 5 out of 10 would have been the most boring answer, would have been like a milquetoast thing. And instead, we got 8 out of 10, which is kind of a tricky one, Rem.
I don't think it's very tricky at all.
I do, though.
I think the answer is very clear.
You think that, but I definitely didn't.
This motherfucker trying to weasel his way. Whether look, with something like this, talking about putting the effort, I don't know whether it is laziness or malice or some combination of the two. But I'm just saying, we all see exactly what's happening. All right, it is on full display here.
It's neither of those things, Rem. I genuinely thought about this. Sure, the idea came up impromptu during that pre-banter, but after the idea came through, I put a lot of thought into it.
Okay, all right, okay.
Because, like, the pre-banter idea, because we were struggling. We didn't have anything that week. So I was like, hey, let's just play Scrandle. People like watching us play weird, stupid games with each other and watching our perspective and opinion. And I thought that'd be fun. And then, as we were talking about it, I was like, oh, yeah, you know what? And I'll even give you an incentive to do well. Reward you, perhaps. And I did put effort into trying to reward you. But the hard part was figuring out how I was going to kind of lower that down a little bit. And the solution I came up with was a combination of rewatching some pretty high-quality shows and listening to some recommendations of high-quality shows that I also agree were high quality. So that it wasn't just, oh man, the weebs really wanted this show in particular, but it was a case of, hey, the weebs really wanted the show, and I think it has a good chance of being something that you might enjoy. But I thought, wow, man, just taking a request from the audience alone, that doesn't feel like I put as much effort into it as I could have. So then I had a funny memory, Rem. And to gamify this episode just a little bit more, I have 2 anime that I can show for you for your special treat reward.
Okay.
Both of them are going to be good. I can guarantee you that. But this is essentially just going to be a last-minute game of trust, Remington. Because trust seems in such short supply these days, especially on this podcast. And I'm not asking you to trust me, Remington, because I think I already know the answer to that.
Yeah?
Yeah. So my question is, who do you trust more?
Fuck.
Our lovely audience or your girlfriend? Because the 2 shows I have are either a highly requested audience show with the purpose of entertaining you and you having nuanced thoughts and opinions on it, or the very first show that your girlfriend requested I show you.
Okay, well, here's the thing. All right. So,
and just to make things more interesting, I have the receipts of when she requested it.
Probably years ago.
2019.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And you love your girlfriend, right?
So much. I don't know if by 2019, if she had listened to much of the podcast yet, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a couple episodes here and there. Maybe like an episode or 2 as sort of just like a broad show of support. And she's listened to quite a few since then, but and I also man, I feel like if it were more recent, I would trust it more. Because it would probably be, oh, this could be something fun to show. But here's the thing, right? Because it would have been the first thing she recommended, it could have ended up being, rather, what a lot of people recommend as their first thing. Not specifically, but generally. They hear about the podcast, they hear about my suffering, and they're like, well, hey. There's 2 types of immediate suggestions they give. 1, here is my favorite, right? Have you covered my favorite thing? Or 2, suffering, you say. You oughta do this then, right? Those are the 2.
Okay.
At the same time, look, I think I think I'm wandering into a trap, but I think it makes a better episode for everybody if I choose to trust my girlfriend. And also then if it goes south, then I can guilt trip my partner for a decision they made 7 years ago. And, you know, that's always a good time in a relationship. Gives you the moral high ground, you know?
Wow, I didn't expect you to come to a decision that quickly. I was actually also going to offer you a little more information.
Oh, we get information? Oh, wait, no, fuck all that. All right, give me info.
Oh, my God. Okay, all right, cool. I was going to give you the opportunity to, as per usual, ask a question about each show with a specific caveat.
Yep.
Because it's about trust.
Of course.
For the listener's choice show, it's same as always. You can ask any specific question about it, and I will do my best to answer it as honestly as I can. For your girlfriend, on the other hand, you can do the same thing, or I can read to you what she said about the show in the DMs she sent me.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'll start with the audience, right?
Okay.
For the audience, got a handful of fun questions. Give me the character archetype of the main character.
Character archetype. Okay. There are technically 2 main characters, so I'll give you an archetype for both since I'm so generous.
Hell yeah.
Optimistic naivete,
okay,
for one.
So either a manic pixie dream girl or somebody who's gonna die. Depending on what kind of show it is.
And extremely sad child. For the other.
Okay. And now, for my girlfriend's anime, let's hear that message.
Okay. Showing a little bit of trust. Which is what, considering you have no idea exactly what she sent to me.
Yep.
I will paraphrase without mentioning the exact name. But here is essentially what she said. I have a recommendation for the podcast. I forgot that this anime existed, but have you heard of it? Have you seen it? I've responded, yes, I have. I quite like it. It's a very good show. You want me to be nice to your boyfriend? She replies, yes, but mostly because I want to join you guys in watching it because I haven't seen it in a while. It can be his reward for after he joins the Discord, if you remember that. It's one of those shows that puts me in a really weird, contemplative, existential mood.
I like those kinds of moods. Here's the thing. All right, I'm going to choose that one. And it right now, all signs point to it being a slam dunk. The couple of caveats there are this, how to phrase it. If it's something that she had forgotten about and then remembered, right? Her taste is a lot better now than it used to be. All right, that's what I'm going to say. Her taste in media has improved.
Oh, God, I hope she listens to this episode so fucking bad.
She can probably hear me talking. So she at least has half of this conversation. But yeah, that's the one. She just messaged. Sure can. Yeah, so that's the one I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna choose the anime that was recommended by my amazing, beautiful, intelligent, creative, talented, and amazing girlfriend.
That's a lot of compliments to brace yourself. All right.
It's a lot of compliments to come from a guy whose girlfriend just messaged that she's hearing every word I say. Fortunately, it's all sincere. It is all sincere.
It is sincere. But there is a certain level of you are putting up a protective shield just in case.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, if it's trash, I want her to feel bad. Lord knows you won't.
No, not at all. But I this way I have kept my promise, and I think this will be interesting. But you have locked in the girlfriend choice. You trust your girlfriend the most. I'm going to make our listeners sad now because you didn't choose that, and they probably will feel like they were cheated again. But hey, them's the breaks. This is what an 8 out of 10 feels like to me. The show that you didn't are not going to watch this time around is one that we've briefly mentioned before and has even been on a wheel, was Takopi's Original Sin.
Okay, sure.
Yep, a 6-episode miniseries that people have been wanting us to watch since it came out summer of last year.
Yeah, sure.
Because they find it very good and profound and think it is right up your alley. And I think it has a good chance of you having some positive things to say about it and have a good time with it.
All right, but instead
But instead, the anime that we're going to be watching today is another highly requested one, but definitely a bit of an opposite end of the spectrum while still having a little bit of that somber like feel and vibe to it. The anime we're going to be watching today, Rem, is simply called Mushi-Shi.
You would have thought that if it's something that she has recommended to you, right, and something that had an impact, that at some point in the nearly 7 years since it's been recommended, that I may have heard about it, but that is not the case. I'm clueless.
Well, in fairness, she had just barely remembered it at that point.
and then apparently, it went back into the memory hole.
Yep. I mean, I love your girlfriend. She's one of my favorite people in the whole dang world. But she shares a very similar trait with you, that is the fact that remembering everything you've seen or watched doesn't always come through.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's very much in one hole, out the other type of thing. But when she does remember it, she is very passionate about it and loves to talk about things. But you are correct in that it is a one that would be a very early memory, because this is a anime from 2005, believe it or not. So that would explain. Right. 2005 is an interesting time period.
I'm side-eyeing that time period.
You side-eye anything that's older than 10 years, my guy.
Correct. Accurate. Well, it's specifically anime that's older than 10 years, all right? There's lots of great classic movies or shows, but anime, it took a while to find its footing, with the exception movies they actually gave a shit about. But like for series,
fascinating. I can't wait to see how the fans of Mushi-Shi react to this episode. It'll be great.
It might be the exception to the rule, and I trust that it will be.
Well, hey. And I mean, hey, that trust is really going towards your girlfriend, so if anything, I can't wait to see...
Turns out this is just Shaun's attempt to break up my relationship, to make me question everything.
Well, the other thing is you do have to sit and watch it with your girlfriend, since that was her request all that time.
Of course.
Yeah. But Mushi-Shi is a story about our main character, Ginko. Ginko is the titular Mushi-Shi. He is, I think the easiest way to describe him would be kind of like a priest mixed with exorcist.
Okay, all right. I fuck with that.
Mm-hmm. And
I always like me a good Christian show.
Well, it's more Shinto than Christian, but hey, whatever floats your boat, my guy. It is a show about Ginko and his wandering from town to town, place to place, dealing with creatures known as Mushi, which are, the easiest way to describe them is like supernatural spirits that exist as existence itself, right?
Sure.
They exist, and sometimes their existence can cause problems, whether it's disease, chaos, mild inconveniences, or even things of beauty, just like the weird little supernatural phenomena, spirits that throughout the world. And Ginko goes from place to place, dealing with a wide variety of these Mushi-Shi, and how they these Mushi, rather. He's the Mushi-Shi, Mushi. It flows off the tongue. You understand. And it's also about his journey about finding these Mushi and learning more about them to try and find answers to life itself, his life, why he's on this journey. And
he ends up
ultimately
finding it in Jesus.
Well, kind of. Generally, just the idea of trying to understand life by going around and interacting with these spirits of raw life itself. And, it's a very existential, like, chill, zen-like show about a dude trying to figure out, hey, what is life and what is going on?
All right. I mean, it has promise. I'm optimistic, baby.
Yeah. And to make things a little better, the first season adapts the first 26 chapters of the manga and has 26 episodes. So that's a 1 episode to 1 chapter adaptation rate, which is like right in the middle of what we've seen being either good or bad, depending. But I will say Mushi-Shi chapters are a little longer than the average chapter, if I'm remembering correctly. So you're getting like a complete chapter per episode.
Unfortunately, Shaun, no matter how you spin it, it's going to be real difficult to convince me that 26 episodes in a season is a good thing.
It was from a time where that was the norm, my guy.
I'm aware. It's one of the reasons why I criticize the time, all right? It's not that I'm like, oh man, 2005, a bastion of storytelling. What? This? No, it's like, don't worry, I'm consistent.
Would it help if I told you it was only a 50-chapter story?
It helps a little bit.
Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, like, I think there's a sequel, like, manga as well, but, like, the main original story is only 50 chapters long. And, like, you're obviously not going to be watching all 26 episodes, because that would insane right now, and would do the opposite. You're just going to watch a handful of the first episodes with your girlfriend to really just see how your relationship is going, really, honestly.
Right, let's hope it can survive this.
Yeah, and I figured you spending time with the person you love and appreciate would be more than enough reward.
It can't hurt. Asterisk, unless and until it dissolves the fabric of our relationship, in which case it can hurt very, very badly.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, hopefully you don't have to start looking for a new place to live, because I can tell you right now, I do not have room.
Hey man, look, if you're responsible for me getting kicked out, then don't matter if you got room or not. I'm coming on over.
I don't know if we could consolidate our board game collection like that, man. It would be too massive.
Look, the logistics would be figured out. They would need to be sorted, because it would just be a fact of life.
Well, that fact of life is something interesting entirely. So we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. But for now, I think there's not much else to say. Let's just, without further ado, go watch some Mushi-Shi. And we are back after watching the first 5 episodes of the hit 2005 anime, Mushi-Shi. And tell me, Rem, are you feeling positive, happy thoughts about your partner, or are you about to, I don't know, insult her to our entire audience, I guess? I feel like that's not the best way to be thinking about your partner, but hey, man, you're nothing if not honest, and that honesty is very frequently cruel. So,
sure.
What do you have to say?
So, first of all, when I went to my lovely girlfriend and mentioned this and talked about watching it together and everything, first of all, she was like, finally, why did it take 7 years? Which fair, honestly, fair.
Yeah.
It'd be understandable for my girlfriend and one of your closest friends to think that they had any amount of priority. But to anybody who's been like, oh man, I recommended this ages ago and it hasn't happened. Yeah, that gives you an idea.
We still get a lot of emails, gang, which we're grateful for. But oh man, turns out there's a lot of shows people want us to talk about.
Look, I think it's fair to say at this point, the recommendations, it's not that it's like a one-to-one, oh, this was recommended, there we go. Rather, it helps to sort of gauge a general level of interest. Oh, this has been recommended by so many people. Oh, a couple people are recommending this with such fervor, right? That's more so what they're there for. Nonetheless, so that was her first response. Then she thought for a moment and said, yeah, it's okay. Which is a wild response.
Yeah, you want to know what else makes it even wilder, Rem?
What?
Shortly after you talked to her about it, she sent me a message, because I informed her that she had permission to show you a minimum of 5, but as much as she wanted, because, that was her right. And then she came back and told me, well, I only watched 5 episodes of it back then, so that works.
She overestimated. As it turns out, she had only watched 4 episodes, Shaun. She had only ever watched 4 episodes, and this was the thing that was recommended. This was a show that she thought was okay, a little bit interesting, and she had only seen 4 episodes, though she emphasized she had seen those 4 episodes 2 or 3 times.
Oh God,
It's
love
a
her.
wild journey. It's just a wild journey to go down.
I love her, but she's such a strange creature.
Yeah, so already that set things into, a weird zone. But if anything, I was curious. And so we start watching, and it's very much an in media res kind of show. It'll just throw you in there. Each episode largely follows the same formula, at least thus far, and it shows no end in sight of this formula, where it's every episode we got Ginkgo, the Mushi-Shi, and he finds some situation going on with the Mushi, and he sorts that shit out, and that's the episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a relatively familiar one. You might think that there's a little bit more of at least character introduction in the first episode. God, no. In fact, I'm gonna level with ya. There's just not much character in this show at all. And it kind of works, but also kind of doesn't. So the first episode, we get some exposition about what the Mushi are, and how they're between life and death, but also sort of pure life itself. I would say life spirit is probably the best way to conceive of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mushi, does that concept exist beyond this show, or did this show create Mushi?
It is kind of like a version of the kami in Shinto, right? Where rather than being just like spirits of life itself, the kami are more like gods, as it were, like gods of a specific area or location. Like the incarnation of a concept or place or thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, just a bit more
sort of feified.
Generalize and connect. Yeah, fey it up. Really drop some Irish on that Japanese concept, and it really
I do think
nicely.
Because we have Ginkgo, who is a half naturalist, half exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
Part of him is just studying, taking note of it all, right? And then the other part is when shit goes whack, he has just the thing. And in the first episode, at least, there's this kid who, whatever he writes or draws with his left hand becomes a mushi. And so Ginkgo shows up, sees what's sort of going on, right? Then we're introduced to the guy, the kid's spirit grandma, who is... Now, here's the thing. Mushi, it's described as halfway between life and death. This grandma is described as halfway between life and Mushi. So I guess she's a quarter of the way to death? She's dead, but only kind of. Because you see, the grandma she had a Mushi banquet, and while she was drinking a cup of sake, it split in two, and that took a part of her. So then she split in two, and there was a living grandma and now a half Mushi grandma. And living grandma sort of lived that life, but half Mushi grandma was trapped forever in this hyper-liminal state of being. Also, I need to emphasize, we don't know shit really about the kid or the grandma. It's very much basic ass fairy tales, right? Where it'll gesture. The kid, he's an artist, all right? That's all you need to know. The grandma, it's a grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Even Ginkgo, he has hardly any characterization, which almost works because he is mostly just observer. But at the same time, it would be better if there was characterization. This show has a very fairy tale, folk tale kind of quality. It deals with generalized principles that feel vibes based and poetic more than anything concrete or real. And that creates a very interesting quality. At the same time, I think these kinds of narratives could still pack more of a punch and be more compelling if these episodes had stronger characters, especially, and to a certain point, stronger plots. In the first episode, the kid ends up drawing the other half of the sake cup, and that allows the grandma to become a Mushi and go fully to this other realm. Meanwhile, then the kid gets all of the grandma's memories, and Ginkgo's like, all right, later. It's interesting, but it's a real weird first episode because it simultaneously feels like you're starting in the middle of something, and at the same time, not starting or going anywhere in particular. It's an interesting vibe. I'm going to keep using that word because I'm unsure what I make of it yet. Episode 2, we get, look, I'm going to level with you. I don't know any of their fucking names. A couple of their names I wrote a couple times, but I don't remember which one's which. And I need to emphasize, none of these characters matter. I'm going to call them by generic titles, and I'm going to level with you. That's kind of all they are. Like, I don't think anybody is gonna be like, oh man, talk about Beaky. Like, I don't think there's any Beaky stands.
Yeah, the show is very much more about, at least to start with Mushi-Shi fans, it is more about Ginkgo going to these places, finding the situations, solving the situations, and going on. So for the vast majority of it, Ginkgo is the only thing that you could really classify as a proper character. And like you've said, he doesn't really show much, rather.
This show, you know what this show is? It's like if Junji Ito directed a public access nature documentary. And so it doesn't have the budget to be exciting or have any particular visual effects most of the time. But conceptually, there's a lot of weird, neat shit. There's some neat shit. And we see some of that in episode 2, where we have two young kids, right? A young boy and a young girl. The young girl lives out in the shed. That's more of a morgue than anything. Like, it's big stone building, but they're just like, oh yeah, the small shed. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But she lives in the morgue shed, and she has blindfolds on because she's hypersensitive to light, can't handle even a little bit of light. Because as she explains, it has to do with her second eyelid. All right. She's a cat. She has a second eyelid. And the young boy is close with the young girl, right? They often play together. But the young boy's mom is worried because she doesn't want him getting the same disease that she has that makes it so she can't live a normal life. But unfortunately, too late. Looks like he has caught it. And the sound effect they use to signify his eyes are sensitive is a crunch sound effect, which is crazy. Just imagine biting a Dorito and that being the sound your eyes make.
Yeah, that's not the best sound for your eye to make.
No, yeah, it's up there for one of the worst, I would say. I would say that if you blinked and it made a Dorito crunch sound, and you were at the doctor would tell you that you need to go somewhere else. The doctor would be like, look, man, I don't think it's a medical issue. I think there's something else going on.
We need Ginkgo up in here to help out.
Yeah. Look on Craigslist for a Mushi-Shi. Good luck.
Considering, as far as we know, only one.
Dude, it'd be kind of a great American spin-off, Craigslist Mushi-Shi.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that you could make some fun shit with that.
Oh yeah, though I feel like the vibes would be a little different.
Sure. It'd be a bit. It would be possibly more fucked up, but also more comedic.
Yes.
Anyway, so oh no, the little boy, he's got the strange eye disease. What's going on? Fortunately, Ginkgo, he arrives. He's here to help. And so he very quickly helps the young boy. He's like, bada bing, bada boom. Here you go. It's fixed. And then he explains that it's a Mushi that spreads in darkness. And unfortunately for the little girl, she's been in darkness this whole time, so it's going to have really, really spread. Ginkgo has also been in psychic contact with the girl, telling her to not go into the river of light when she closes her second eyelid. some of you guys are going to be like, okay, what the fuck are you talking about there? It only half makes sense after having watched it, so I don't feel the need to clarify. Once again,
It's very much vibes and feeling.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yes. What you understand from me saying that is just about what I understand from having watched it. But he's like, all right, now to help the little girl. So that night, takes her out of the shed. Unfortunately, takes off the blindfold. She opens her eyes. Endless mushy goo leaks out of her eyes and sort of just like floods the area. Silvery mushy goo leaks out. And Ginkgo's like, well, shit, her eyeballs are dead. And I wouldn't want a bunch of mushy goo coming out of my eyeballs. I don't want my eyeballs to crunch. I don't want a bunch of goo to come out of them.
Yeah. A little bit of soft horror elements in the show, eh?
It's a really cool, fucked up visual. Really neat. Ginkgo's like, oh yeah, I have just the thing. He pries his own eyeball out, turns out glass eyeball, injects it with something, gives it to her. She puts it into the black hole that is her eyeball now. And bada bing, bada bam, she can see now. She's good. And that's the second episode. And it's like, there's interesting stuff going on. But once again, no plot or characters to speak of. It's just kind of weird, interesting stuff. But then too, it has me reminiscing, because thinking about other things that we've covered, right?
Mm-hmm.
That are like, oh, look at this weird as fuck thing. How weird, how strange. What was the artistic pedo show?
The artistic pedo
We covered it
show?
recently. Yeah.
You've already forgotten. It was our fucking Christmas episode.
I know,
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's
not even been a month,
it's just the name. I'd recognize it if I saw it, but they just...
Oh my fucking hell. Bakemonogatari.
Oh, okay. So like that, right? That was weird, but in ways that were sort of like big metaphors for underlying shit going on, right? As far as I can tell, Mushi-Shi is mostly just kind of weird. I'm like, is there a meaningful metaphor or message to be derived from this? Like, can I derive meaning? And the answer that I could parse was not really. It's just kind of weird, interesting stuff. Which has value in and of itself, but I do feel like it could have been handled a little bit differently, right? The show, Mushi-Shi, provides something unique, undeniably, in just the quiet vibes, just seeing these strange creatures and spirits and whatever the fuck they're doing. It's neat. It's neat as hell. But it's also just like, it's not a fun watch. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I feel like perhaps the best... if there was a YouTube video that sort of abridged it, not in a comedic way, but just sort of like 5-minute summaries of each episode, I think that would work because you'd get all the neat shit. And at the same time, I recognize that the slow pace does also kind of work, but the slow pace would still work if we had characters, right? If we had characters, we could have the characters quietly vibing and it would feel more meaningful and interesting. And so it's I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a special show. I've yet to decide whether it's a good show.
Well, would you believe it or not, I was kind of banking on your partner having seen, I don't know, the show? The whole show when they recommended it to me? Because I was thinking, oh man, great idea. Minimum 5 episodes. But I'll leave it up to them to show as much as they feel is appropriate, because that's what a lot of people complain about is, with our podcast, is that a lot of times for shows kind of like this or in a similar vein as this, you don't usually get to see enough of it to like get to like some of the more complex and meaty stuff. But after I had already planned all this out, and then I come to find out that she has, in fact, only seen the first 4 episodes a handful of times.
Which also, I need to emphasize how crazy it is to have only seen a small fraction of something, but to have seen that small fraction repeatedly.
God, and it's so on brand for her too. Like, how could I have predicted that? Genuinely, because I was like, oh man, this was something important enough that she recommended it to us for the podcast because she wanted to partake in what we were doing and to have like a good time with her partner who she loves and cares about very, very much. But then to find out that not only has she not seen the entire show, but only the first handful of episodes multiple times, which, man, my plan of thinking, okay, here's a fan of the show. I'm going to have a fan of the show dictate how much total the Remington watches. And then we'll have an interesting point of comparison and contrast for when I decide how much something you watch compared to how somebody else from the outside perspective could. Because, it's not easy deciding exactly how much to show people. And I just knew for a fact that, okay, I'm going to go to the top end of what we normally do for this and then let somebody else dictate the rest.
No, as it turns out, if it was truly up to her, it probably would have been 4 episodes.
Yeah, which is fucking insane. And if you're listening to this right now, which I have a feeling you might be, because, I involved you in this episode, whether you wanted it or not. What the fuck, man? What the fuck, man? Why are you like this?
She fantastic. So, episode 3, we get a very snowy village, and within this village, there's a kid who, when he covers his ears, he sprouts horns, and the whole village is being affected by silence, a disease of silence. Once again, rad as hell, super fucking cool. And there's a mushy mucus that eats sound, and so he's like, oh, that's super easy, easy to solve. But unfortunately, there's one boy in the village who has extra symptoms. He's not like the others. He's the one with the fucking horns. Sure, some Mushi are eating all the sound, but what the fuck is up with this kid? Turns out he has sort of the opposite. He can hear extra sounds. All right, he's fucking wired in. The horns are like fucking antenna, and it's also his mom died with the same thing going on. And this is a Mushi that eats silence. And so the kid goes outside, and Ginkgo's like, yeah, that's probably fine. And then later on, his mom is like, hey, where do you go? And Ginkgo's like, ah, shit. Yeah, I guess I'll find him. It's starting to snow pretty badly. I guess I'll go look. So he goes look, finds the kid in the cave. In the cave, there's a giant horde of the ones that eat sound, but there's also one of them, of the ones that eat silence. And so Ginkgo puts that one in his ear, and it turns out that the rumbles of the body can kill it. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% clear what was going on with this one. But he's able to kill it, and a bunch of Mushi goo erupts from his ears. He does it to the kid. A bunch of Mushi goo erupts out of his ears. That's going to take a while to clean. It is messy. It's
a very gooey situation overall.
Yeah, it's not like the flood out of the eyes that happened earlier, but it is like if a paintball exploded in your ear. Not
unpleasant.
Yeah, and not in the sense that like, oh, ow, that would hurt, but just like that much goo is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So he solves the day once again. Episode 4 is all about a guy with dreams that can foretell the future. He has a kind of premonition about everything. And so Ginkgo once visited him and gave him medicine to keep it in check. He's revisiting the village, but now it's been abandoned. What's going on? The dream guy, he's one of the only ones left. He talks about the dreams, how it helped the village find a water vein, and how it predicted a landslide that he could prevent. But one day there was a tsunami that he didn't dream of, and his daughter died, and so he blamed the medicine for inhibiting his premonitions. So he stopped taking it. But then, of course, he had a terrible dream, and everybody became green mold statues. Don't you hate it when that happens? And as it turns out, the dreams were not premonitions. They were causal, all right? Whatever he dreamed, it was causing those things to happen. And Ginkgo, so the dream guy feels bad about it, and he's like, oh God, so I am in part responsible. And Ginkgo's like, hey man, you're not responsible, the Mushi isn't responsible. In a way, no one is responsible. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking, Ginkgo, you're kind of responsible. You gave him false information. You went up to him and you were like, hey, oh yeah, you can tell the future sometimes. That's 100% what it is. But here's this medicine, and here's what this medicine will do. And you lied to him. You lied to him so that he believed it to be rational. Why not? To let his dreams go wild, so then he can tell the future more often, right? Based on Ginkgo's lies. And it's just kind of a wild point. Once again, the show doesn't give a shit about this. The show, as far as I am aware, doesn't even know of this as a possible concern one could levy against it. It's just like, yeah, of course Ginkgo would lie, and of course this guy would do this, the Mushi would do that, and the whole village would die, and the daughter would die, and it's just all a bunch of tragic shit would happen, and it's just how it goes. It's like, I don't know, Ginkgo, you should look on yourself a little bit. You should.
Yeah. Ginkgo's got his own problems, to say the least.
Well, and later on, I think in episode 5, Ginkgo will be like, I don't know if I should have sent that one grandma to become a Mushi. It's what she wanted, but was it for the best? And it's like, motherfucker, that isn't the thing to be questioning yet, all right? You let a man turn his whole town into green mold. Like, you are largely responsible for that. Just absolutely wild. Anyway, Ginkgo helps him out. It's like, they can be exercised, I can help you out. But then Dream Guy, he's like, no, I know the solution. He takes all of the medicine. And it's like, oh, shit. He starts talking in his sleep. He dreams of being back home with his family. But then he sees himself sleeping, sort of out-of-body experience. Then he starts lighting on fire. Ginkgo saves him from the fire. But then Dream Guy's like, I know what I must do. He slices his pillow, which apparently is the conduit in which the Mushi has been going through and propagating in, so it looks like it's a pillow full of maggots, but in so doing, he cuts himself. He slices himself in two. And he ends up living, though later he does kill himself. And that's the end of the episode. Yep. He doesn't kill himself then, he kills himself later. And once again, that's just sort of left there for you, which is wild. And I can almost admire the audacity, but one, I still wish that we were getting actual characters here. This was the closest to it, but still not a lot. And second of all, what little character is developing for Ginkgo is rough. Stoic Scholar is kind of working, though not the most interesting thing. It's coherent as a character. Some of the shit he's doing is whack as hell, and the show has no idea it's whack as hell. Finally, episode 5. There's sort of two parts to this story. Ginkgo is selling Mushi artifacts to a collector, which is also a weird element to add to get, like, he's such a scholar, but now he's like, hey, after every one of these, hey, baby, got a new artifact to sell on the market, I guess. And so he's in the process of selling, and he's like, I need some assistance. And he explains that Ginkgo, he was traveling, and he found a traveling swamp with a swamp woman. And the girl the Swamp Woman, as a girl, she was going to be sacrificed to like the rain gods, but the swamp revived her and saved her. And so now she's beholden to the swamp, and the swamp wants to become one with like the ocean. And so it's traveling, and Ginkgo sort of chats her up and it's like, oh, okay. But then she's like, oh, time to go. And the swamp whirlpools out of there and it's gone. And Ginkgo's like, fuck, we need to save her. And so he asks the collector for help. The collector's like, yeah, I know some fishermen. So the fishermen go to try to save her. They're attacked by the water, which is basically the swamp traveling through, getting to the ocean. They catch her kimono, but she's nowhere to be found. Much later, she is found. They fish her up, and she's made of Mushi gelatin, but then she becomes back to being a normal person and keeps living her life. Not the most elegant of the episodes. Some interesting ideas, though perhaps a bit haphazard in this one. I like the ideas. I like the ideas that are here, Shaun.
Yeah. It just goes to show, Remington, when one plans to involve somebody majorly in an episode,
hey,
you should probably talk to them first about things.
Look,
that's on me. That's on me. Like I realize my error. But you know,
you made assumptions, and now you're an ass.
Well, I was that beforehand. Let's be reasonable, especially according to everybody who leaves us a negative review. Not as much as you, of course, but definitely I get included in that as well. Mostly people are upset at you. But yeah.
So Mushi-Shi, it's got something that other shows don't have, for sure. But it lacks what a lot of shows do have. And ideally, I do think, and once again, I understand the quiet, slower, contemplative vibe that it's largely going for here, right? Even the sort of folktale, fairy tale vibe of it. I get that, and I fuck with that. I don't think that those would be sacrificed if you had characters. I think that they can go together there. I think it's super neat and interesting, but I'm like, are the ideas worth the show, right? Or is it just neat to hear the ideas? Like, oh, a spiritual disease that eats silence? Rad as hell. That's some cool shit, dude. But like that episode, I don't know, it didn't do a lot for me.
Ooh, fascinating. Okay. Well, I will tell you this much. The show is incredibly beloved by so many fucking people.
Oh, I'm sure.
And like a lot of it comes down to genuinely the whole journey as a whole. And it might be another one of those cases where they're adapting a single chapter of the manga to the per episode, which makes sense considering its somewhat episodic nature.
Well, and I think that could totally work because each one very standalone, right? Yep. And I think that can totally work. My issue isn't with even necessarily the pacing if it were doing a little bit more with that pacing, right? Because let me sort of define the difference, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can have the same scene in two different shows or movies or whatever, and all it is a character sitting at a table by candlelight looking vaguely sad, okay? And you hang on that for 3 minutes of just that and no action. Well, if you've established this sort of character and established this scenario, then these 3 minutes can be meaningful and compelling and interesting and good. Even though they're wildly slow, excessively slow, insanely slow, but it can be meaningful and valuable for that, right? Meanwhile, if it's a character that has not been developed to any degree, and it's a scene like that, one of many, well, I'm just going to be wondering why I should particularly care, right? Slow pacing is fantastic. Some of my favorite media has a glacial pace, but it makes it meaningful. And I think that the show easily could have done that.
And I believe it definitely does. I feel like it definitely does.
Why doesn't it do it in the first 5 episodes, Shaun?
He has time.
Lord knows he has the time.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. And
even when characters, they look, most, I won't say most, so much of the meaningful dialogue is just exposition dumps, which even that is somewhat justifiable because of the sort of naturalist quality of the show. But you can even infuse a little bit more personality in those as well, right? You can do two things at once, but it doesn't.
Oh my god. The worst part is I don't have a way to describe to you exactly how things grow and are different without in such a way. God, it's hard to describe the feelings and vibes of this show in a clear-cut way with all that you've seen in the first 5 episodes. But it is, God, I remember watching this show maybe 10 years ago for the first time. And I more or less binged everything in the span of about a week. My experience with this show is just like the more you learn about Ginkgo as a whole and his perspective from things, the more you start to connect with him and realize what a kind of a sad trauma filled life he has, mixed with the ideas of who he is and why he does the things he does, and his journey on trying to figure out exactly what his own purpose in life is and what life truly means to him.
Well, then you can recognize it as a misstep that it, one, gives no meaningful indication of that in the first 5 episodes, and two, provides no reason why one should be interested in that kind of thing from him. Like, you could be like, oh man, it's so neat and so interesting. It should have caught my interest at the very least, even if it doesn't show those things. It should have somehow given me the confidence that that's what's to come.
Yeah. And maybe it could be also chalked up to the fact that this was made in a time where the anime adaptation essentially treats the manga as a storyboard, more or less, so that any additional animation that is added in between is definitely filling a lot of space, but isn't giving the same, like, it's more on the environments and the situations rather than like the actual physical characterization of the individual characters. And it's hard to really gauge what he's about because he's got that stoicism from the get-go. And man, it's just so difficult because there are nuances, there are complexities. It's just, yeah, they just aren't quite there from the get-go that you can tell. You genuinely have to be carried by the interest of what is happening from chapter to chapter and being drip fed all these aspects about Ginkgo as things go on. And unfortunately for Remington and people like you, that's not always going to be enough. It was enough for me. It was enough for me. But I can see where you're coming from, and that's just unfortunate because I genuinely think that this is a very powerful and special story and show, and it's got a lot of meaning. It's got a lot going on for it. It's just a little hard to summarize, and oh my god, genuinely, hey gang, if you ever plan on having somebody make a decision in things, talk to them first. Please. It's smarter, it's better, because genuinely I was curious to see how much somebody outside would assume to watch, but I gave that decision to the most unpredictable woman I know.
Yeah.
And that's on me. People have been waiting years for this one. I am so sorry about
but
that
also,
aspect.
It feels like 5 should have been enough.
It's not. It's really not. Like, if I had it my way, I probably would have shown you half the season.
Jesus
minimum.
Christ.
But, that's just me. And I knew that if I said that, you would have not been a fan out of spite, because that's how you usually are whenever you have to watch more than 5 episodes of anything.
Hey, I'm always honest with my evaluations, all right? I never hate things just because of spite. Now, spite may...
You do hate things just because they're long.
If unnecessarily so. Well, there's plenty of things I enjoy that are long.
Name 3.
Dylan's cock.
Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, but there's a handful of like TV shows that have gone on for multiple seasons that I've enjoyed the whole way. We got, of course, like BoJack Horseman. Good Place is a good example, right? There's things that have multiple seasons that I fuck with the whole time. It's just when things aren't using their time in a meaningful way, it's like, man, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? There's enough 10 out of 10 media out there that it's hard to justify something that's like, oh yeah, well, if you spend 10 hours of not really vibing with it, then there's a good chance that you may start to. It's the same reason why I don't play a lot of JRPGs. It's like, yeah, I'm sure by hour 48, I'll start having fun.
Oh, God,
but it shouldn't have to take that long.
As somebody who plays JRPGs a lot, I have fun so fucking fast. Thank you very much.
And see, yeah, that's great.
You.
But I have heard of many accounts, and I've seen many defenses when people are like, "Oh man, didn't really vibe with this," and they were like, "You were only 20 hours in. You haven't even started. How can you possibly form an opinion after only spending one full day with a thing? I don't understand."
Oh boy, this is going to be a conversation we're going to have on repeat forever, I'm sure. Because, oh boy, there are some things that, God, that are just so worth the time to put in.
I'm sure there are things that are worth putting the time in, but also there's so many things that reward you to the same degree immediately. And it's not just like, oh, the lazy slop that you can immediately get. No, there's things that reward you immediately, whether it's a transcendent movie or a short story or short book or a one season of a show that's only 12 episodes. All of these things that will reward you just as substantially. So I'm sure that there's plenty of things where if you wait long enough, you get those rewards as well. It's just much harder to justify.
And that is incredibly hard for what we're going to have to do in the near future. But that's for another episode, unfortunately. But we know how you feel about this show, Rem. What do you think the weebs think of it? Because, I mean, you've already heard how I feel about it, but, like, it's... You know I'm an anomaly when it comes to most weebs.
Yep. All right, so it's old. So nostalgia is going to be there. It's unique, which is pretty neat. I think it is going to get an 8.16.
Is that your final answer?
Damn right.
Okay.
Damn right it is.
Well, the first season of Mushi-Shi, which covers the first 26 chapters of this 10 volumes manga, has about 295,000 ratings, which is pretty low for something that's, over 20 years old, but is highly acclaimed. And with those ratings, it's sitting nice and pretty at 8.65.
Woo!
It's in the top 100, as are the following seasons.
See, look, it's got something special. I just don't think that it's one of those that I would give like a 5 or a 6 out of 10, but then have a little asterisk next to it, right? Where it's like, look, 5 or 6 out of 10, but it is doing some interesting shit.
Genuinely, the score breakdown for this show is one of the most top-heavy ones we've seen. Over, basically over half of the reviews are between. In fact, you know what? Yeah, no, I'll just show you. It is incredibly top heavy there, and it's mostly by people who fully finish the show, and it's just one of those ones that, God almighty, is it a lot. Basically, like 2/3 of the people that watch this show give it a 8 to 10 out of 10, and it is one of those shows that people will always recommend to people who maybe not as their first show when getting into anime, but more so as one of the first couple of shows that people really get into after they're like, okay, so I've seen the basic stuff. I've seen the stuff everybody recommends. What's something a little more niche and a little more interesting that we can tack onto these things? And that is kind of how that show goes.
The go-to recommendation when weebs are like, no, it's not all fan service, trust me. Until then, you tell me that in episode 6, that's when they introduce the big titty Mushi.
No, they don't. Mushi, just so you're aware, Mushi is also like bug in Japanese. So he's kind of like if you want to like a direct literal translation, he's the bug master. But you can see why they keep it as like just the Japanese title and give it like its own meaning in and of itself.
Sure.
But yeah, it's hard. It's hard talking about things like this because genuinely, like, this is like one of those shows that I can very easily recommend anybody watch. And if you're willing to put in the time to get through it, it is just a pure vibes-based show that gives you things to think about and things to feel. It's just,
Meanwhile, over here, insert Marge Simpson meme. I just think it's neat.
God almighty. It's these reviews that hurt the most, Remington. I want you to know that because I love this show so much. But oh man, just thinking it's neat feels like a different kind of stab in the back, you know?
Oh, okay. Well, you were free to tell me within these 5 episodes. Tell me what's beyond neat. Show me the depth in these first 5 episodes. Show me the depth that I'm missing.
No, I can't. I genuinely can't because it involves me talking about things that happen later. God fucking damn it. Okay. It's fine. I'm okay. I'm all right. I never trust in her again, that's for sure.
You know, Shaun, unfortunately, the heart is a lot like a bone. It gets stronger after every time it's broken.
That is not true. That is both not true in your metaphor and not true in reality. Jesus fucking Christ. Muscle tissue, sure, maybe. Bones tend not to heal super well afterwards.
Just science, Shaun.
Okay, sure. And I'm sure you're of the opinion that milk is the ultimate solution to making bones better.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen all the recent ads from the government talking about how whole milk is the absolute way? Whole milk and red meat. It's apparently the most healthy diet.
Tell that to our editor. Who shits himself when he comes near a bottle of milk.
That's it removing toxins. That's the whole milk cleanse.
Okay, don't make me start ranting about how people talk about fucking toxins in the body. Because then I'm going to have to start talking about the liver, which I don't like doing because obviously, Irish heritage, it's taboo.
Just think of the toxins like bad Mushi.
Oh boy. Oh God almighty. Well, I think that's about all I can handle. Otherwise, my heart is going to break even further and not get much stronger, unfortunately. You're only killing a man, Remington. You're only killing a man. But I suppose the final question I do need to ask is, any chance you want to watch more Mushi-Shi sometime?
Sure. I'm not wildly enthused, but I'm down.
God, that's better than nothing, I suppose. That's better than nothing. All right. Well, with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
You know what I really want, though? I want, here's the top 10 Mushi and Mushi-Shi. And that, I would...
You will never get it. You will never fucking get it.
I might find that video... I might find the value I obtained from that video to be most of the value I would obtain from the show.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's not any 10, it's the top 10. I want to know what the top 10 are.
I am going to scream. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy Rem just making me sad, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough for you, twitch.tv/anime-out-of-context, from myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly. And if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/anime-out-of-context, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who we thanking this week?
Well, as always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are absolutely flooding us with their mushi goo. And on that list we have Gripin, My Knee Grows, Mauricio Ruiz, Tech Turtle, The Wheel is Rolling Towards a Mirai Nikki revisit, Yeti Ramsey, Hot Wheels World Race is the best isekai, vid of Rem Borkin to vid of Shaun Jorkin to super cut of Judy Ops for episode 400. That's all you want next week. That's just that.
It's like they want to make me sadder.
Back to normal potato farming, I guess. I sick Rem on Code Geass like one would a rabid dog. Will Remington talk about the time God made Hosea marry a hoe? Gandalf wants to take Shaun's hobbits to Isengard, wink wink. Shaun was right, Rem does need a Bakugan revisit. Welcome to Sword Art Remington. Shaun blocked my cock. Princess Alice died again. Calderius. Ryan Moody. Week 35 of using my Patreon name to request Code Geass. Sparcy. That time I reincarnated as a podcast host and forced to weeb. What does Goon got to do with it? All of the furries tremble in fear at double-barreled Rollins and his 50 jars of devotion to his goddess, Judy Thickums Hops. Swaraj Verdi. Jake Dent. Wolfire 56. The Nerd 98. Lucky Star is the king of Moe. Fucking God. Would you rather top surgery or bottom surgery? I would prefer top surgery. What about you, Shaun?
If it's a binary choice, top, probably.
Yeah, give us tits. Hey, Dylan, what about you? I get in on the tits.
Hell yeah, some tits would go great with my fishnet shirts.
Hopefully he gave his answer. If he didn't, we all know. Interpret as you will. I can't believe I made an account for this. Westgate and Rem is going to regret blowing a load at our precious... Oh no, now you're using the censoring against me. It's funny when it's against Shaun.
If it isn't the consequences of your own actions, sir.
It's consequence of your actions, Shaun.
That categorically untrue.
Bento Gato. Hey, Rem, would you pick up an abyssal whip the next time you get sent to the abyss? Thanks. Shaun just wants an appletini and a place to stick his weenie. Remington is right. Red Pill Rollins wants to foolie Judy's coolie. Foolie coolie is just, it's such a good verb. Pitching new identities for Shaun. This week's pitch, Ravioli Rollins. I like Ravioli Rollins. I don't know how to interpret it, but I do like Ravioli Rollins.
Is that just me who really loves Italian food? Because if that's the case, I'm already there.
Anybody who's listened to this far, feel free to comment recommendations for, like, sort of reverse engineer the inside joke that led to Ravioli Rollins. It doesn't need to be something that actually happened, just like plausibly, either something that Shaun did or said, or like an interaction on the podcast, even a fictional interaction. How would we have gotten to Ravioli Rollins? Because I do like it. It just needs history. So let's make that shit up. All right. Excuse me, that lolly is at least 500 years old, Shaun. Strife is temporarily giving up on summarizing every anime out of context episode because of work. It was a doomed task, if I'm being honest, but my boss can go fuck himself, not in the good way. It's how it goes. It was noble cause, not much of a noble cause, if I'm being honest. But we admired it, while it lasted. A Moe piece of trash. Seraphim the Shark Plushie. Aisha Gudgy. Blarf. Macaroni Uchiha. Daniel Riot. The Danish Viking will conquer the world with Renor as my navigator. Shaun ruined my happy sugar life when he-man. Super Zoo. Erica McCorkle. I really hope I wasn't late. I'm so sorry. Link Joe Girl. Hayden Cristanti. Sending love to you both. Shaun wants to give Spoon Man a thanking yank. Rem uses the drums of liberation to free all weeps from bad anime. I want a Marvel movie starring Shaun as Spider-Man and Remington as Big Wheel. I owe Shaun and Dylan an apology for Shyamalathon. There we go. Daddy Rem, tell me about that story about Shaun's nut. Turban. The capybara's love for Gojo is infinite. Make Shaun watch every Adam Sandler movie next year for April Fools. Stacy's mom. Amazing Muffin. Watching Requiem for a Spoon Man at 0.5 speed. King Rich Rock. Pro tips out of context has run out of things to post. Will come back soon. Rhiannon Williams. Titan CNH. The Susanator. Brockhard for Dude's been listening since 2018. Congrats on 400 eps. It's crazy that we hit that next week. I'm not mentally prepared. Yandere Neko. Anime.
So you're telling me.
Misuka had more than 10,000 serial experiments done to her and her sisters. That's way more than Lane. Fern the Fern. G.E. Bottom A.K. Bear Trap. My favorite beer is either Modelo or Tecate. Tecate. But sadly, I'm not a witch, so Shaun should be good. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. No Waifu, No Lifu. Nippleless Cage. Hoomst. Cheese Monkey. Jax. Fenrir Foxelf. Professor Fox, Jam Hands, Shaun's Judy Hopps Carrot Butt Toy, Buckshin, Shin, Buckshin. Farmer Weeb wants the Patrons to fill the Patreon readings with happy things about episode 400. We'll see you next week. We'll see if that works out. Wheelie, hope not too late. Ross Palmer, The Struggle Bus is Forever, and Cassidy. Moving on, we reach the Boy Wizard tier. What are they going to get this week, Shaun?
I mean, genuinely, the only thing I could think of was bugs.
Hell yeah.
Because, I mean, Mushi, bug.
On that list we have Triangle Warlock.
No, not list of bigs. Fucking. What are your favorite bigs? Top 10 bigs.
Well, gotta start with Dylan's cock.
Yeah. They can have bullet ants.
Toaster Bath 1.618, or you can just say golden ratio.
Carpenter ants.
Hey, Shaun, $10 million or all of Krillin's powers forever.
$10 million or all of Krillin's powers?
Look, man, if you can't make $10 million by Distrusto disking some motherfuckers, like...
Yeah, no, like, I don't know, like, the appeal of being a superhero is too strong. And also, I mean, if I had that much money, I would be hard-pressed, because I would be immediately like, okay, first things first, take care of my needs and my immediate desires, and then get the fuck rid of it. God fucking hell. I don't want to be a rich fuck. No. Enough to not have to work, sure. Enough to make a difference, much more important. But no, I would want Krillin's powers, because he's like, who wouldn't want to be as strong as Krillin? Come on.
Is one of his powers baldness?
No, he shaves his head.
Wow, really? That shit is so smooth. Oh, but I guess he gets hair later.
Yeah, he has hair during the Boo saga, yeah.
Ah.
And again later in Super.
So weird. Every time I saw him with hair, I was like, he has hair, so that means he's irrelevant now.
Yeah.
Because he was only relevant when bald. Was there ever a time he was relevant with hair? Like,
yes? Asterisk?
An actual factor, like in the fights and shit?
Yes. There were a couple moments in the Boo saga where he was relevant, but it wasn't, not to the extent of anybody who happens to be able to turn their hair yellow.
I was gonna say, by the time by the time Krillin has hair, I like little kid brain. I was just like, oh well.
God forbid he gets married, has a lovely wife and a kid. You know?
I'm not saying he's not living a good life. I'm just saying that once he has hair, you're not gonna be excited to draft him in your roster, all right? Once he has hair, you're like, ooh. You're like, I guess I'll go with Krillin.
Gonna disagree there, but that's just because I'm a Krillin fan.
The other choice is fucking Yamcha, so I guess I'll go Krillin.
Oh, poor fucking Yamcha. Poor fucking Yamcha, man.
I don't know if Yamcha was ever good.
OG Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And then
see, the interesting thing, even as a kid, like I had glimpses into Dragon Ball Z. I never watched shit for Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball would still be referenced. Like, it's still quite the history. And so every time it's just like, huh.
I mean, Yamcha's introduced as a bandit that's trying to steal from Kid Goku and Bulma. So,
really?
Yeah.
How old is he?
Yeah, how old is he?
How old is fucking Yamcha?
How old is Yamcha? That's a good question. I think he's around Bulma's age, if I'm not mistaken. He was around 17, give or take, when he first met Goku, apparently.
Okay.
So yeah. So, like about half a decade older or so. Can't remember exactly how old Goku is off the top of my head. Maybe 16?
Anyway, what bug do they get?
Oh, fuck. I closed my tab on bugs to look up Yamcha. Why did I do that?
Your bug is Yamcha. Congratulations. Melnick Suzuki.
Poor Yamcha. They can have Weaver ants.
Will is celebrating 8 years in episode 400.
Cuckoo bees.
Domini Trigun. Red Pill Even Rem.
Sweat bees.
Blinks, get away from the bookshelf right fucking now, you little shithead.
Oh, that's the name. Oh. Bumblebees.
Rem is now Fooly and or Cooley.
Carpenter bees.
Umbrasite.
Western honeybee.
Time for Rem to suffer Groundhog Day with the Endless 8 out of context, you slithy tove.
Ensign wasps.
That mouse girl.
Hornet.
Truckun Operator number 42.
Paper Wasp.
One Piece live action on episode 400.
Velvet Ant.
Sammy K's here to remind you that you just lost the game.
Yellow Jacket.
Roscop.
Wood Wasps.
Carver 271.
Silverfish.
Chris Thorstad wants Rem Daddy to take the wheel.
Springtails.
Spoonman the Aristocrat is here for party quirks.
The Bark Gnawing Beetle.
Power Cell's WWE question of the month: which current superstar is the best looking finisher?
Carrion Beetles.
The Great Buttball of Despair misses you.
Darkling Beetles.
The Wheel of Ka keeps turning.
Fireflies.
Beethoven 1201.
Fungus Weevils.
Wheel Tums.
Ladybugs.
Silent Secondary.
Colorado Potato Beetle.
Miguel DeLeon.
Leaf Rolling Weevil.
And Allfather only just realized on the second that the 12 days drops next week, and he's heckin' excited.
Sap Beetles.
And then we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Shaun, as Joey Wheeler, will summon a Mushi from the show as if it is a Yu-Gi-Oh monster, and I will tell you what its effect is.
Oh my god, you're gonna make me look up the fucking names? I don't think they have
They
names.
do have names. They all have names. He's named every single fucking one of them.
I just can never remember them. That's on me. Let's see. Hold on. Pulling up a list of them.
On that list we have: follow Anime Out of Context on Blue Sky. Remington, it's been a while since you checked out the Blue Sky. We miss you, Ubauk.
The best part is I think I'm gonna choose some that you haven't seen.
Hell yeah.
And that'll just that'll just add to it. You can have let's go with you can have Yado Karidori. Go forth.
All right, they're more of a Pokemon in that instance, but
Look, man, what's the difference? What's the difference?
And this motherfucker Yadokari, he's got the effect. When this is flipped, tell a joke to your opponent. If your opponent laughs, as judged by a judge that you must call over to the table, then they lose the duel. You can flip this face down at the end of your turn.
Man, you really don't understand card game design, do you?
Hey, man, there's a couple ingredients there that are actually Yu-Gi-Oh! All right?
Yeah, I'm aware.
I just want this one to be a menace in the tournament scene because you gotta call a judge over every turn. You're like, all right, I got this one. And as an added bonus, this card cannot be affected by any trap spells effects and cannot die by battle. There we go. It's just there every turn. Every turn. Next up we got my milkshake continually brings morons to the yard.
I synchro summon Kumohami in attack position. Yeah, is that better?
And Kumohami, it has the effect of take your opponent's deck and throw it up in the air. Anything that lands face up is banished.
Fucking hell. Chaos Orb on steroids, why don't you? I'm gonna have to show you some interesting magic cards for
that's what I'm thinking. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Should have some of those magic sets. I don't remember what they're fucking called.
Unsets?
Yeah.
Hilarious thing, Chaos Orb was actually an original set thing as well.
Last but not least, we got I'm gonna shoot my brains out with Shaun's double barrel. I'll let you know if I survive.
Oh my Christ! The fucking Mushi-Shi you get.
The Mushi they get. They're not getting the Mushi-Shi.
Yeah, sorry. God damn it, I do that every
They're
time.
Not getting
every
Ginkgo.
time
Unless you're about to summon Ginkgo, I guess.
I mean, I'm going to... it's gonna take a minute, but I think I'll pendulum summon. Yeah, how's that? Pendulum summon Jesus Christ in defense position because, dear God, do you need them?
Everyone's favorite Mushi.
Jesus Christ. Look, man, it wouldn't surprise me if there was like a pure life condensed version of everything that Jesus stood for, and then was promptly ignored by Republicans.
All right. When this monster is sent to the graveyard by battle, you lose the duel. 3 days later, you win the duel.
I don't think that's going to be tournament legal for long.
Oh man,
like I don't know what the fastest Yu-Gi-Oh ban is, but I feel like that might be the one.
It'd be up there. Look, it's right next to Victory Dragon and shit they don't want to deal with officiating.
Oh, you know about Victory Dragon.
Damn right. Hey, I know more than I ought to, considering I know nothing. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can send an email over to animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do 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 do.